Hi, I'm Faster EFT practitioner Kim Brown. Glad you could join me today. And with us also today is Judy Timperon, an advanced level 4 Faster EFT practitioner from Australia. Welcome, Judy.
Thank you, Kim.
Judy, tell us about how you got involved with Faster EFT. What's your story?
Well, I used to be a school teacher. I left teaching not because I didn't love it. I left it because my husband said to me one day, "Are you ever going to grow up?" I was actually quite offended. I said, "What do you mean?" And he said, "Well, you've been at school since you were 5." And I thought, wow, I have too. School, university, school. Time to leave. So I left while I still really loved it. Kicking my heels around, not really knowing what I wanted to do. And I actually resigned because I thought it's too easy to go back. But I knew that I needed to do something different, just to experience other things. A friend one day said, "You should try EFT." I had a go at that and I really loved it. In fact, I really thought it was amazing. I went and did all my matrix re-imprinting. I became very proficient. I started getting clients. My husband and I, he's an investor. He does really well. We were making a lot of money. But what actually happened was we had a major fraud done. And so we lost everything. Now, at that stage, we owned a lot of properties. We were really living a wonderful lifestyle. 5 overseas trips that year, all travelling business class, just really having a lovely time. Also doing a lot of good things too. We had a big charity foundation going. It all fell down like a pack of cards. It was a terrible shock to us. So we went from living in an amazing apartment to actually being homeless.
Wow.
It was a terrible shock. It's fine going chickadee-chick, going on your way up, but when you come zooming down,
Yeah.
boy, do you have to dig deep to recover from that. Many relationships fall apart.
I imagine there was a lot of shame and embarrassment too.
Oh, it was huge. And also quite a lot of our friends were doing what we were doing because they'd seen how we were doing so well. They were doing that. They wanted a bite of that cherry too, which is fair enough, totally. So they got hurt too. And some of those friends are still very close friends today.
Wow.
Some of those friends don't want to have a thing to do with us. That was really hard. That was the hardest part for me, was what happened to our friends rather than what happened to our own money. My husband's incredibly optimistic, but I remember coming out of that lawyer's office when we realised the depth of what we were facing, absolutely losing everything. House, cars, all our investment properties, everything. And he said to me, "For the first time, I understand why so many of my family have suicided." And I said, "What do you mean?" And he said, I knew his family history, but I said, "What does this mean?" And he said, "I'm not saying I'm going to do it," but he said, "I understand why." He said, "I understand how they could do it." I said, "We've got to clear this up." And so we went back to the time of his great-grandfather, and we made peace with that. We made peace with his father suiciding, his uncle suiciding, the repeated attempts of his brother, and the death of his brother. We made peace with all of that. We made peace with all the times when we actually started to dig in and find out, more things about Scott. He's a strong, he's a strong man. Some of the stuff I didn't know about. I found that he'd actually had things stolen from him a lot from childhood on. And so we made peace with all of that too. So around the time I started doing that, Robert G. Smith came to Adelaide, and I did the Faster EFT training. And at first I was very sceptical. What could be better than the matrix re-imprinting, what I was already doing? But the Faster EFT took it to a whole new level. And I did all my training, level 1, level 2, level 3. And it was at a time when I could least afford it. Let me tell you, at a time I could least afford it, I was getting a session a week done on myself because I knew I absolutely needed it. 6 years down the track, well, actually, probably within 1 year, I created a beautiful place to live in. I actually worked on a memory of my grandfather, where I said to my dad one day, "How come Pop was never like you, Dad?" My dad's amazing, what he has created for himself in his life. He is a really good man, and my mum's fantastic. They're both fantastic. And I said, "But Pop was always lived like a poor man," and he was very quiet and introverted. And Dad said, "Yeah, but he was a product of World War I. he had so many war injuries, which I'd never really known. And then he said, and also when he came back from the war, they were all given, all their salary for all those years, enough to do something decent, and he invested and he lost the lot. And he said he never really recovered. And I'm going, oh my God, I'm just like my grandfather, who I also totally loved. And so I actually went in and made total peace with that memory. And a month later, and I actually re-imprinted us as a family living in this gorgeous mansion. A month later, Scott and I were living in a mansion, and we've been there ever since. Now, we don't own that place, but we live in this beautiful place where we have amazing people coming in and cleaning each week. We have a pool man who cleans the pool. We have a garden who comes in twice a week because it's a really big garden. We do not own that place, but we have the benefits of living there. I feel incredibly grateful and incredibly blessed. But I also know that we created that by clearing up our past, creating what we want in the future. So that's one of my strengths with my clients now. Whatever it is that they have in the past that they need clearing up, I make peace with it. I change the memories, and then I get them to focus on all the positive stuff. So now when I actually think of my grandfather never even owned his own home. And he rented something that was really, really, really very humble. But now when I think of him, I actually think of us walking down out of the front porch, down the driveway, hopping in this beautiful car and driving off. And it was a really lovely big home. And I don't live in a home exactly the same as that, but the home I lived in is a heritage, big 2-story listed heritage home, and it's very beautiful. And the person who owns the home is an amazing person. So, it's just like, hey, how fantastic is that? Scott went labouring, which is not the sort of job my husband would enjoy doing, let me tell you. And then he actually, as we cleared up all of his stuff, he started recreating. So he's back now doing amazing things. He's back now, earning creating, I should say, a really good income for himself. And I have a fantastic, thriving business. At the time I needed clients the most, they just seemed to dry up. And Scott said to me, don't focus on the money. Focus on what you're doing to help people. The moment I got back into doing that, because I went into fear, terror. What's going to happen to us? Mm-hmm. The moment I did that, got myself out of the way, cleared up all my stuff. And yes, I have tapped a lot about all the abundance issues. And now we have this amazing life. We're back travelling over the world again. Travelling here to Abilitat.
That's right.
Yeah,
we're in Hawaii right now.
That's right. Working with the residents here, healing all their traumas to make peace for them. So I travel I travel now. I live in a wonderful space. I've got wonderful friends, and for the friends who no longer wanted to connect with me, for every one of those that I've lost, I've actually had other people come into my life who have filled the gap, like someone who was fun. Mm-hmm. I've got people now who, are even more fun, someone who I could share my deepest, darkest stuff with. I've got someone else who does that with me now. And these people are, so they're not such long-term friends, of course, but they've only been in my life for 5 or 6 years.
Right.
I feel as though I've known them forever. And then, of course, some of my long-term friends that I went to school with, and have known since my teen years, 20s, they're still my dearest friends too. I'm very blessed. Those people, didn't reject us because we were not able to do the same things we were doing. I feel nothing but love towards those people. I totally get where they're coming from, and one day I hope to be able to help them again. But it's just about, you've got to pull yourself up. You've got to dig deep. I had to dig deep. My husband had to dig deep. Even now, every now and then I'll say to him, I think you need a session, don't you? And he'll go, yep, I do. I said, I'll meet you upstairs in my office in half an hour. Let's go and work on this. And I still get work done on myself. Probably within, a week or two of coming back to Australia, I'll probably ring up another practitioner and say, okay, a few things popped up for me at Abilitat, let's go and clear them.
And why is that not a bad thing? Why is it helpful to continue to have these things come up and address them?
Because we get triggered all the time, and so much of the triggers are as a result of childhood experiences. It's very easy to be triggered at a habitat because you hear horrendous stories from them of things that they've been involved with and things that have happened to them. And even if they don't tell you the story, which they don't have to do,
Right.
we can work with stuff. We don't even need to know anything about it. But you know, I'm visual, and I think I create stuff in my head too. And so it's really good to clear anything like that. Yeah, so I'm now leading a happy, fulfilled life. I've got so much, a sense of youth and vitality about me.
She really does.
And so I feel younger than I felt before. You know, a lot of my friends have now retired, and I'm going, retired? Like, what's that? I've got so much still to offer, so many more things to still do. And I think the faster EFT is primal in actually giving me the energy, the strength, the resilience, the resourcefulness. And besides, it's just, you know, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun living the life that you really want to live.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is. And
So
letting
thank you,
go of
Kim.
all the past. Thank
Letting
you.
go of the past, creating the future that you want. And
That's
we've
right.
become experts at doing that with clients.
That's right.
I've had so many clients that walk down the stairs, and Scott's office is just at the side, and and as we open the door, he'll often hear a client saying to me, "Wow, if it wasn't for you, I probably wouldn't be here." And it's not me, it's the work that we do. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be here. Or I certainly still wouldn't be married because my wife wouldn't have put up with me. He hears that so often. Or, I'm free now, I'm free of the pain. Or, I'm free of all that weight. Or, I'm no longer an ice addict. You know, my family have accepted me back. Whatever it is. Or, I've just got promotion after promotion since I've been doing this work. I'm no longer triggered by the people at work. Instead of the people at work reporting me and saying, you know, she's not a very good team leader, she doesn't listen, they're going now, oh, we want to be on her team. So, you know, I work all over the world with people. I have a very busy practice, and I'm sure you do too. I love working face to face, but I don't have to. And I know Scott has said to me a few times, you know, it was almost worth it for everything we went through. There were gifts to what we went through.
That's right.
And so we've taken the gifts and we're letting go of all the stuff.
That's right.
And the man who frauded us, he didn't fraud just us, he frauded many people. He actually died. He got cancer and died before he ended up in jail. But we both know, my husband and I both know, that if he was still alive and we bumped into a coffee shop, we would actually be okay. We wouldn't drink coffee with him, but it wouldn't trigger us because it's over. It's just a memory now. We're now focusing on the amazing lives that we have chosen to create for ourselves. And, you know, we're closer than ever. We have a wonderful relationship. I'm very, very blessed.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, Judy, tell us what your website is.
Okay, my website is findingfreedom.com.au. And my email is judy.timperon. I'll spell the name. It's Tim, M for money, Peron, N for nut, at gmail.com. judy.timperon@gmail.com.
Thank you for being with us today,
Thank you
Judy.
so much, Kim. It's such an honour to be able to have this conversation.
Thanks.
Thank you.
And Judy, and I thank all of you for watching today. And if you'd like to find freedom, contact Judy. And remember, no matter what you've experienced in the past, today is a new day. See you next time.